every time I get busted putting my lip glue on. All right. This is my final video because I am going to call these people tomorrow. See, this is why Washington, D.C. needs to be a state. And not under the review of the Senate. It just needs to be its own state. Constitution said you could make a new state. Our United States Constitution, with enough people and in the area and land and stuff. Might be another reason why some people are buying up our land. They want to make their own state. All right. So I listened to my video from my conversation with Chelsea, and she said it didn't go to the Senate, and they hadn't voted on it. I think it's that I was reading somewhere about it and got the two mixed up. The Senate would not pass it in that condition. They weren't even going to take it up and consider it the way that the House of Representatives submitted the bill. The bill has two things in it, right? Initially, and you see where it says "and to repeal." Where's my pen? It's to prohibit the people that are not citizens from that. But then here it says, and to repeal the Local Resident Voting Rights Amendment Act of 2022. I think the one before that was like 1955 or something like that, or 56. I don't remember off the top of my head. But this was the original one. We got away from the original one, and we got down to this, to recommit, motion to recommit, right here. The question, what is the question? Okay. And then that was the final up or down, yes or no vote. And then the final question is this, the same exact thing, but I think Comer did a substitution instead of an amendment, right? But you see the question. That's the bill title. It no longer says, and to repeal the Voters' Rights Act. Okay, so underneath all of this stuff, there has a link. You can go and click it and see how much it costs, if it was going to cost anything, from the Congressional Budget's Office. The attorneys have looked over it. There's another committee, CBR or CRB, that looked at it to tell Congress what authority they have to take an action on this. Okay. But background and need for legislation, you have to justify why. This is the thing that I didn't discuss with Chelsea, because I was actually waiting to discuss it with, and I still am waiting to discuss it when someone calls me. Where I have the blue lines, that paragraph right there. Background and need for legislation. So I'm going to read it. On November 21st, 2022, the district government enacted the Local Residents Voting Rights Act Amendment, D.C. Law 24-0242, which allows non-residents, including illegal immigrants, to vote in D.C. local elections. The act makes no exception for foreign diplomats or agents voting in the district. This act makes no exceptions for foreign diplomats or foreign agents voting in the district. These individuals often have interests separate from or opposed to the interests of Americans. Yeah. This DC Act dilutes the votes of American citizens. And dilute means to weaken. If you have strong coffee and you dilute it with water by adding water, now the coffee is not as strong. And could have a ripple effect across other large U.S. cities. I said that in the previous video. What happens in our state capital, if they put it through and it flies there, then others, because see, we so busy calling each other names and looking at each other and who's married and who's black and who's white and who's MAGA and who's a Muslim and who's Hindu Indian and who's gay and who's not and who want to be called Miss, Sis, whatever, money, reparations. We so busy. And I said in my other video, y'all think this country can't be stolen again? Y'all think it can't be stolen again? Anyway, and the rest of this goes on to explain that how enough people come to this country, and there's enough people in a certain area, and they can okay, because I'm not gonna say it. So why would anybody put a NV, which means a non-voting, that you're deciding not to vote? It doesn't mean that you're absent from the meeting. NV means I'm sitting my ass right in this chair and I'm not going to vote on it. Why? First of all, why did you even take prohibiting that, what was going on in the act, without specifying that it doesn't apply? And I think it's in there that it doesn't apply to American citizens. Why did you amend it? And now we're only talking about, okay, now we're only talking about this part, but we're no longer talking about prohibiting individuals from voting in the elections in the District of Columbia. Why are we only now talking about that instead of what was initially the question was, and to prohibit them from making it a law and an act? See, when you do that, you're allowing people to vote. Y'all could twist these words and say these words any way you want, but every single solitary Democrat, Republican, Independent, the answer, yes, let's prohibit it. Yes, let's prohibit it. Yes. Look over here at the Democrats, at the Republicans. 7 people sat there. 7 people sat there and said, I'm not going to vote on that. Why? Yes. Look at the Republicans. The Democrats, I'm sorry. The second line. 18 people sat there and said, I'm not touching that. Why? Why are you... See, if you don't say, yes, let's prohibit it, you're saying, no, I'm not going to prohibit it. Tell me something different. We got no's. 143 Democrats said, no, don't prohibit it. And 23 Democrats and Republicans. Now this final passage is going up to the Senate. I know the lady said it didn't go to the Senate, it didn't this, it didn't that, but the language of it was floated to the Senate and said, we're not going to pass it if you send it to us like that. You got to take this stuff out. And I believe that's why, with the part that says, and to repeal the Local Resident Voting Rights Amendment Act of 2022. That's the part, because the whole thing that's in here like this, I think it's like 12 pages long. And I did read all of it. So maybe I get a fact or something out of line or out of order, the order of which it happened. But the fact of the matter is, the Senate wouldn't touch it until they took that part out. Why? Tell me why the Senate. What? Why wouldn't you? All right. So now they got the final passage in the House of Representatives, and it is on its way to the Senate. Let's see what they say about it. But I'm going to call these people and ask them, why are you a no vote on the question? Whether to prohibit people from voting that don't live in this country. This is how your country gets stolen. Now, the people in Washington, D.C., and that's why they need to be a state. Because if they were a state, they can't make a law like this that abridges the federal rights of the people in their state. But they're not a state, they're a district. I'm president, they're becoming a state. Yeah. There's ways to make people say, yes, make them a state. When you really want to make them a state. I would have 4 years. That's 8. I would have 4 years to get my votes. But that's something I would have to go to Congress for. Things I'm saying that I will do as president, I don't need to go before Congress because they're so combative and argumentative. But I have a lot more things in common with both Democrats and Republicans than not. It just needs somebody at the head to say, okay, this is what we're going to do, and don't get in the way, or we're going to steamroll right over you, get the votes that we need, and get it put into law. Right? I got to go. I just wanted to show, I very often do not show my hand at first. So if I'm asking you a question, I'm asking you to see what you know, what you're going to tell me, how much you're going to tell me. So I'm going to play deaf, dumb, and stupid. Nobody's called me back. It's 6:17. I'm about to settle down and get ready to go to bed, do some more paperwork, and then get into bed. But when you they don't even need 100 million people here. They have 11 million people in New York. The Danish and they're in Denmark, and Europe is kicking them out. They're kicking the migrants out. I think it is unfair. I do. I think it's unfair for them to be kicked out. It's unfair for a president to kick them out of the United States. They need to be removed, put in the program. And if you don't want to join the program, because it's not a choice, then get extradited back to where you came from. Most people will just go ahead and join the program because the program is good. I'm just not saying what the program is. If the American people feel that they look at me and think, oh, she's 23, she's 25, or she's 32, I am not. I am 56. And if I'm willing to fix what's going on in this country, then what is the problem? See where it says date of birth? September 1967. I am not. This is proof of my age as presidential candidate. I just took off my address, and up here, and your number up here, this is your date of birth, is your year of birth is always in your license plate number, for those of you who know that. And then there's another number after that. I think that's like your district or something, wherever you come from, or your eye coloring or something like that. But everybody look at your license and you see that number, those last 3 numbers, starting with the last 3 numbers, that's your year of birth. I think in the other video I said the date of birth. And I do look pretty young in this picture. I do. I will admit that. I look very young. But that was 4 years ago. So let me put this up here. You see it says issue 2023. Okay. The reason it says REST, I think it says restraints or something like that. I think is what that means, is because I have to wear glasses. So if I get caught and I give my license to the police and they look and see that number and I ain't got my glasses on, I'm getting a ticket. Just for those of you who got that one on your license plate, your license, don't, you better pull some glasses out and put them on, because they can tell you, they can make you not drive. I have to have my glasses to drive and walk and ride a bike. That's called being legally blind. But you know, they have to make sure you're safe on the road. So they can't pull up on you, and the one is on your license, but you ain't got no glasses on. Just FYI. Maybe I'm a teacher. Somebody asked me, was I a teacher the other day? But all right, there's, you know, I doctored it up because I don't want somebody to take a picture of the license and then make their own. So I took out the name and put an X over the seal and all that stuff. If you're going to do it, you're going to do it, but you're not going to do it through me. But I am not. Stop making excuses. If you don't want to vote for me, if you don't trust me, that's fine. If you don't, because how is it that you don't trust me? How is it that you need to know who I am? Don't you just need to know what my issues are and what my stance is? We're supposed to be Americans voting for Americans. Y'all put Donald Trump in there. Y'all don't know Donald Trump. Y'all put Barack Obama in there. Y'all don't know him. Y'all put Bush and now Joe Biden in there. Y'all don't know any of them. None of us know these people. Why do you have to know me? If you watch my videos, if YouTube stop chopping them up, and then the people who are doing whatever they're doing, you would hear my ideas and my thoughts enough to know where they're coming from. But again, oh, you're so young. No, I'm 56. Oh, okay, I'll sign. What if I'm saying all the right things to you, right? And it turns out that I'm 34 instead of 35. But before the election, I'll be 35. What if that's you mean I've said everything that you want to hear. I'm knowledgeable in it. But because I'm 34 right now, you wouldn't sign a petition for me to even be on the ballot, because my birthday would be before the election and I'd be 35. What if I actually were 35? I personally don't think I look like I'm 35. But I just think maybe 35-year-olds look a little older than, you know, when we were growing up and we saw someone that was 35. Y'all 12 and y'all look like y'all 35. So maybe that's what they're talking about, because y'all the oldest looking people I have seen. And you know what that says? You didn't enjoy your childhood. You grew up too fast and you're not enjoying your adulthood. Y'all got to learn how to have fun. I'm like, oh, you're not going to make it. Republicans aren't going to vote for you. Democrats. So am I going to pass out if y'all don't vote for me? Y'all are losing out. I don't need y'all. I want you to vote for me, but I don't need it like my life depends on it. Because the world going to go on. And a lot of people are not going to be able to afford a place to live, food to eat, fruit. They keep telling us to eat more fruit. Eventually, the fruit that we're buying from the foreigners, I have a whole program so that we do that here. And who are those people that are going to work? Americans. See, we've been replaced in everything. And then there are people who came here legally. Legally. There are some migrants that have asylum. There are some that didn't come here legally, but let them stay, and they're still in a status of limbo. Guess what? They're gonna stay in the status of limbo for my administration, because I'm not doing asylum again. We did an asylum. I forgot the president who did it. It turns out that it was Reagan, and he said one-time deal. Now, do we have to live by his one-time deal? No, we don't. But he was the president, and And the Congress at the time, some of them asses are still in there. That's how long ago. That's how long they've been in there. They agreed to not give asylum, a mass asylum to people, because that's how the people that are here now are here now. And so you people that got that mass asylum 40 years ago, your ass about to be replaced. Y'all looking at me like I'm crazy. Yeah, they come and replace you too. They ain't your brothers and sisters. You got what they want. They want that mass asylum. But no, you don't sit there in your country and have 100 million damn babies and don't have no resources for them. Clothes, shoes, food, medication, doctors, hospitals. But you steady pumping out babies. Stop it. Then you want to come here and say the jobs that we won't do. We'll do the jobs. We just need a living wage. We ain't gonna never get a living wage if somebody could pay you $2 and we need $30 an hour. Who will ever hire us? A business would never hire us. So to relieve businesses, small businesses, they could pay minimum wage. They don't have to be forced to pay higher than that. But under my program, for at least 3 years, every American that's working, or if you're disabled, you will get a check that is exempt. It is not considered income. It is not considered resources. You cannot be garnished. And that is to bring all Americans out of poverty, those who want to participate, bring us out of poverty. It won't make anything inflation go up, because wow, my Treasury Secretary is not going to make inflation go up. Yeah. So if it costs you $5 to produce a product and pay for it to, and then be distributed, manufactured and distributed, it's still going to cost you that same $5. You don't get to say, well, I hired 10 more people so that I could do more business. So now I'm going to say what used to cost me $10. Now it costs me $5,000. And then all the business people say, hey, let's raise it. Let's raise our prices so that they can say it's inflation. No, see, there's a law that says you can't do that. But nobody in Congress, no one in Congress is saying, hey, wait a minute. Oh, you know what? I take that back. It was Porter, Katie Porter. That's why I used to like watching her. Y'all gonna be sorry that y'all put Adam Schiff instead of Katie Porter. Y'all gonna be sorry. But she is one of the ones who I said, oh my God, that's what made me start watching her. I'm like, because she go back and she look it up and she get that stuff. See, that's why I need somebody to in my administration. I know it exists, but go get the original language and let's see how they altered it over the years. Because some of that stuff was not permanent, so that they could alter it. Congress could alter some of those laws, but a lot of those laws are permanent, or they were annotated. So that means the original law cannot be changed. The annotation that's added on cannot change the original law. It's just adding on because times go on and times change, and maybe you need to do things differently and you need to do your calculations differently. But the original law is the law of the land. So when it's annotated, when you see NJSA, New Jersey Statute, that's just a regular law. If you see NJSA, that means a New Jersey statute has been added on to, or there's an annotation to the law. All right, that's my lesson for today. I'm not even supposed to tell y'all that. I know that. Have a good day. My actuarial will know all of that. My attorneys will know all